Who among you is doubting Sandman? Show yourselves, because that show was such a big hit, it's been renewed for season 2. Flawless would be the right word to describe it, we suppose. As we enter a long wait for the next season, let's talk about who could play the famous Destruction. If you don't like any picks, you're under no obligation to be respectful, but please, direct the tomatoes to the online fans, not us. First up, David Harbour. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to David Harbour. If you don't know this man, that rock you're living under must be hurting your back. Please go out and see the sun. The true king of Hawkins, Enzo's brand ambassador Jim Hopper. Go ahead and ask the obvious question. Why him? Well, because there's hardly anyone in Hollywood these days which can bring quite the charisma to screen as he can. With him, you get everything. He's the buff, angry guy who'll absolutely smash anything in sight when the situation demands it. Very Destruction of him, by the way. But then again, he can also balance out his badassery with just the right amount of comedy. This we know from Stranger Things. If you look at his Black Widow portfolio, that gives a whole other aspect of his action hero abilities. From what we know of Destruction, he's the kind of superhero who's obviously serious about his responsibilities, but also doesn't mind laughing at himself every once in a while. Not to mention, he has that done with life vibe, which makes sense because he literally abandoned his family and left his duties, which is why we don't learn about him in the comics until much later. The point is that Harbour has already, in different roles he's played, brought all the qualities of Destruction, or Eleftheros as he's sometimes called, to screen.
Okay, reunion then, huh? And, I want to say something right off the bat.
Next up, Christopher Hivju. This pick is by far the most popular among Sandman fans, mostly because he looks exactly like the character in Neil Gaiman's comics. He's got the gravitas to him that would make the perfect Destruction. But once more, the reason so many people are convinced he's got what it takes is that we've seen him play similar roles before. Okay, maybe not similar, but you know, we've seen him incorporate the perfect balance of seriousness and comedy. You might remember the Norwegian actor from Game of Thrones, where he played Tormund Giantsbane for 5 seasons. And that guy was the wildest wilding that ever wielded. But if you ask us, his role as Nivellen in The Witcher is a much better piece of evidence why he would make a convincing Destruction. Just put this man in the costume, and we think he'll pretty much embody the mysterious, endless sibling immediately.
Don't scream. You don't want that to be the last thing she remembers.
Following up, Chris Hemsworth. Oh boy, this is controversial. But hey, if you're one of the Hemsworth deniers, please think about this with an open mind. We agree with all the fans who think Chris is just a red wig away from becoming Destruction. He's got the superhero look, he's got the superhero build, and he can play a funny guy. If it's his acting that you're wary of, you're probably thinking about what it's probably the MCU's comedic take on Thor. So please, allow us to remind you that none of that was or is the actor's fault. Most of the MCU scripts he worked with, and we mean this with all due respect to Marvel, were mediocre at best. The first Thor movie is probably the only one that truly mirrors what this man can do as a superhero with a good script. Again, in that movie, we had the type of comedic relief moments that were well timed and well performed, but also that was exactly the kind of fun moments that are on brand for the secret Sandman sibling. Like Destruction, he also had a messed up family dynamic to deal with, and you can't deny how good his love-hate chemistry with his brother Loki was. What makes you think he won't have the same tired but still caring sibling vibe in Sandman too? There's literally evidence that he can do it well. Your memory of him is probably tainted with the dark fat Thor era or maybe Love and Thunder. Please, you're being unfair to him. So yeah, Chris Hemsworth for Destruction.
He's a friend from work.
Moving on, Kenneth Branagh. Come on now, you have to agree with this one. So far, we've only considered the comedic timing or the action hero factor of our picks. Now is the time to throw a masterful orator into the mix. A perfect Destruction will have to deliver a certain amount of wisdom in all his words and speeches, but then also a bit of chaos hidden underneath them. Tell us who can do that better than Kenneth Branagh. We'll wait. From Gilderoy Lockhart to Hercule Poirot, this man has always captivated fans with literally anything he utters. He's probably one of the very few actors whose long speeches fans listen to, even the ones with the littlest attention span. Again, the perfect quality to have on your resume if you're trying to get the cast as the lost member of the Endless. And to make things better, he's got that subtle mischief in his eyes. We respect a difference of opinion unless it's about Kenneth Branagh. So beware, he'll nail this character if it comes to it.
I look in your eyes. I see despair.
Coming up, Brian Blessed. Here's a little shout out to Brian Blessed, author Neil Gaiman's pick. Yep, the man who imagines the character believes Blessed would be perfect as Destruction. But the sad problem here is that Blessed is 86 years old now and doesn't work a lot on screen these days. He does quite a bit of voice acting though, best known for his 1980 film Flash Gordon. His prominent work now is his voice acting as Grampy Rabbit from Peppa Pig. He can do comedy and bad but he can also remarkably tap into his vulnerable side. Oh, and he looks the part. You can really see why Gaiman would want him as the fourth oldest endless sibling. Hey Netflix, 86 or not, it's your responsibility now to get this man to do the job.
Therefore, in fierce tempest is he coming, in thunder and in earthquake, like a Jove.
Now for Sean Bean. Yep, we may say Sean Bean would be perfect for the job, although with casting him, there's always the threat of his character dying in like the second episode or something. But come on, he's a legend. We've seen him fight, we've seen him be weak, we've seen him with red hair. Both Ned Stark and Boromir had red hair, didn't they? And we're thinking about Destruction's relations with his family. We've seen Bean bring those complicated feelings so very beautifully to the screen before. In Lord of the Rings, his dynamic with the hobbits and with Aragorn was so telling how much of command this actor has on emotion. And on the badassery scale, we'd give him a score of 10 out of 10. But the icing on the cake is that he has his quality of making his heroes feel so extraordinarily honorable. Has somebody given him a call about this already?
You've seen better days, my lord.
Another visit. Seems you're my last friend.
Speaking of fan cast, why not pay Delirium a visit? First off, Sadie Sink. Delirium, the youngest of the Endless and the most unhinged. As many fans would agree, Sadie Sink would be a great fit for this role. She's mostly known for playing Max Mayfield in Stranger Things, and even though the course of just 3 seasons, this talent bomb pulled off so many different versions of the same character. Then of course there's her latest film with Brendan Fraser, The Whale, which isn't out in theaters yet, but the critics who've seen it are in awe of Sink's emotional range and power. Now, wouldn't it be the best thing if we also got to see the crazier side of her acting? We don't know about you, but we think an unhinged Sadie Sink on screen would absolutely steal the show, and we know she'll absolutely nail it too. Next, we have Sophia Lillis. Do you even need more convincing after seeing her performance in it? This girl was born to captivate the screens with the slightly weird character she plays. But even more than Lillis in it, it's her performance in I Am Not Okay With That that makes you wonder what she could do with the character of Delirium. Because clearly, she's way too good at playing a teenager who's trying to get her life together, but can't seem to get anything under control. So yeah, with Sophia Lillis, you can't lose. If she gets to play Delirium, you can be sure we'll see something very special on our screens. Lastly, Maisie Williams. There's absolutely nothing Maisie Williams can't do, and if there's something we think she can do really well, it is to be chaotic while looking like the sweetest little cupcake. That's pretty much Delirium, isn't it? Sure, she's Arya Stark, but she also has her iconic Doctor Who and Pistol appearances on her belt too. So yeah, much like Sadie, we've seen that Williams has the ability to bring her very strong and real emotions to the screen, and now the best thing would be to see her channel that talent into playing a character that's emotional but also exceptionally unhinged all at once. That's a wrap for this video. Who would you like to see playing Destruction? And which one of our picks absolutely infuriated you? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.